I don't know about you, but I'm thinking it's time to ruin our trousers. Well, over this new week, Bitcoin is extremely likely to test and break, even if only temporarily, the 21 daily moving average. And what happens next will give Bitcoin a shot of more exciting pumpiness confirmed, as Bitcoin right now tests the top of this very important critical crunch zone and descending channel level. And the world's potentially biggest dump incoming, John McAfee may get his final wish. After all, lock your doors and tell mom you're gonna be late for dinner, because it's time to explode all over these charts. I'm your host, Tommy Tickle Me Timbers, and if you like dumps, dumping, pumps, and rumping, then you came to the right place. Absolutely huge, guys. We have a lot to be talking about today. And as well, are we at the verge of potentially the biggest crash in the history of the world? We're not talking crypto, gold, silver. We're talking everything, okay? And that is why Kiyosaki here has some very good advice, and we're going to be jumping to that as well. And as well, rest in peace to John, who passed away last week. The dumping joke at the beginning was in reference to his fetish for getting dumped on. It's actually something that he was a very big fan of, quite literally getting dumped on by other humans. Absolutely very big. But if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, turn on these absolutely time-sensitive alerts. And without any further ado, let's dump on in. Oh, so we have a lot to be jumping into with these charts, but guys, I want to start with this. So Robert Kiyosaki backing Bitcoin as biggest crash in world history is coming, he thinks. So my opinion on this, I personally thought like 2 years ago we were headed for an economic crash or something. Now, fast forward, we went through obviously some of the craziest times in human history, and we still have not had a crash yet. But in my opinion, I think we're just kicking the can further and further down the road, and I think a lot of people agree with that. And something big is coming. And again, that's why I personally think that at this point, Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, and even though I'm not as invested in like gold and silver, I personally think those are much better bets over the next couple of years because of what I think is just too big of a risk going forward. And guys, let's be honest about this as well. If a market crash does occur, it's not like Bitcoin, gold, and cryptocurrency and hedges like that are just gonna, just hold their positions exactly or just start pumping. If we would witness an actual global economic crash, something similar or even worse to 2008, everything, at least temporarily, would probably get destroyed. But then after that, you're going to be looking for things that hold their value and weather that storm better. And again, that's why I like crypto. That's why I personally think Robert's advice here is probably pretty good. Again, nobody can predict exactly if or when we could see a crash like this happen. But all I'm saying is if it did happen tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised by it, right? There are a million things lined up right now, specifically that have happened over the last 12 to 18 months, that if a massive crash did happen, I don't think a lot of people would be like, well, we were in the strongest economy of all time. How could this happen? I think a lot of people kind of recognize, yeah, I mean, things have not been looking very good for a long time. So Robert Kiyosaki here saying that Bitcoin, gold, and silver are good bets as he expects the biggest crash in world history is upon us. In a tweet, he stated the best time to prepare for a crash is before the crash. The biggest crash in world history is coming. The good news is the best time to get rich is during a crash. Bad news is the next crash will be a long one, he said. Get more gold, silver, and Bitcoin while you can. Take care. Okay, could this be in 2 months from now? Could this be in 2 years? Could it be in a decade from now? Sure, all of those are options. I personally think, if we are going to have it, it probably will be sooner than a decade. Maybe within the next 1 to 5 years, I think is a very good time frame for that. Again, it would be impossible to speculate on exactly when that would happen. But again, I think it would be within a few years as opposed to a decade plus. So while he expects to buy Bitcoin around 24,000, he said the price appears to have stabilized at around 30,000, with the current price sitting at about 34,000. The Bitcoin mining hash rate recently hit a 13-month low following the recent ban on Bitcoin mining in China. However, the price of Bitcoin appears to have stabilized for the time being. That's something we talked about a little bit in yesterday's video as well. But overall, I just think it's important. The main reason I wanted to cover this is not to spread fear. I don't think anyone's really fearful about that anyway. But be prepared because the world, in my opinion, is on very shaky grounds right now. And it's not like buying Bitcoin right now is going to prevent utter chaos if the entire world collapses in terms of the economy and the markets. most likely everything will drop and everything will get crazy. And again, it could be in a couple months from now. It could be a couple years from now. So it's not really something to get extremely scared about or fearful of. It's just something to be aware that this is a real possibility that I think we should recognize. You know, if something like that would happen, it shouldn't take us by too much of a surprise. Our current financial system is absolutely bogus. And again, that's why I think down the road, cryptocurrencies absolutely are going to fill that space. But it's not going to be instant. It's going to take some time, and it'll probably take some pretty unpleasant circumstances for it to fully happen. So if we jump into the charts here as well, on the daily chart, we did have a pretty massive move over the last 2 days. Currently, we came right up almost that 21 DMA. I personally do think we are going to have another shot to flip this like we did back on June 13th. But the big question more so isn't if we can flip it. It's going to be, once we flip it, if we're going to be able to hold that and actually capture any of these levels of support. You can see that on this chart. There's quite a bit of resistance above us. So again, it's not going to be a walk in the park, even though I think Bitcoin over this week is going to have the ability to kind of climb up higher here. The big question is it just going to get shot down like it has every single time over the past month and a half, or are we going to have an actual shot to actually stabilize above the 21 DMA, right around 36,000 US dollars. And guys, if we go to the 1 hour chart for Bitcoin, we've been reclaiming a lot of these short-term fib levels. Pretty important. Obviously, again, 36 and 37,000 is just that huge level that I'm waiting to really have any sort of bullishness for Bitcoin in the short term. I think, again, it's going to be a really big level, which if we can flip, then that can be pretty bullish for Bitcoin, but I don't think it's going to be very easy. I think it's going to take time. If we go to let's actually go to the 6 hour chart, because what's happening here is actually pretty interesting. We're at the very top of this resistance yet again. So this is the descending channel we see here. We actually have it on the 1 hour chart that we're just looking at as well. You can see it right here. We've come up to this so many times over the past month and a half. We broke through it once, immediately came back down. We tested it for resistance and failed, and we got pushed to the very bottom. But again, you can see all of the tests, and this is the most recent one right now. So it is possible over the next 24 hours, 36 hours or so, we're going to make a move above this. And then again, we have a lot of tests above us, but breaking 37 is going to be very important. And can we flip 40 again? Because last time we did break 40, we flipped 36 and 37, broke 40, even 41, and then plummeted back down to like 28,000. So really big dumpiness there. But again, this is a test. The bulls have the momentum right now, I believe, and over the next week, we'll see if they have any true momentum, or if we're just going to continue trading sideways here. And as well on the 4 hour chart, we've reclaimed some very good fettuccine levels here. Again, 36.5, right in between 36 and 37,000. Just a really big test. I don't expect us to just slice right through it and stay above it right away. I think it's going to take some time there. And on the 6 hour chart, we are above currently the 21, and we're testing the 50 moving average on the 6 hour chart. And again, these are still my big key levels. We have like 28 to 29,000. We have about 31 to 32,000. Then we have 35 to 36-ish, even up to like 37. Let's do 35.5 to 36.5, and then the 40K level, and then the $46,000 level. So again, those are the massive ranges that I think are most important to watch. You can see that's kind of where all the VPVR volume is as well, specifically the most being right around 36,000, which is going to be big. Now, it's going to be very big, and I think it's going to be difficult. But as well, we actually see Ethereum making a nice move today, getting back above the 200-day moving average. We spent a few days kind of trying to hold it, falling below it. Big test for Ethereum is going to be breaking 2250, which will put us back above the 21. And yeah, well, the 50 is above that because we had a bearish cross all the way back here on June 2nd at the beginning of this month. So a lot of room to go, but it is nice seeing Ethereum, the top altcoin, getting some momentum here. Bitcoin shorts absolutely decimated. One of the biggest, maybe the biggest in history, increase in a single day. And over the last 3 days, we've seen that kind of plummet down as well. The longs are still high. I mean, people are obviously pretty long on Bitcoin. And we have the DXY still trying to hold that 200-day moving average after, shooting above the 2150 and 200 in about a week or two, and now it's kind of just trying to stabilize there. Long term, I don't think it's going to. I think it's going to be a situation similar to like what we saw back at the end of March. Okay, last time we broke that, and then we just kind of went on a downturn for 2 or 3 months. I think that's ultimately what we're going to see here. But again, remains to be seen. SPX yet again setting new all-time highs. Is this a bubble? Probably, and that is why I believe Roberts and a lot of people are kind of warning of a crash. And again, guys, even though I think crypto is going to be obviously the best long-term bet, even if you hold for 2 to 3 years, I think that's probably the smartest thing to do. Does that mean it's going to be recession proof or depression proof? Probably not. You know, if we have a massive crash, everything, okay, most likely everything is going to take a tumble, at least temporarily. But the key is picking the things or putting your capital into things that will recover, remain strong, or grow much stronger than the things that collapse, which I think is inevitable. It's a matter of when. This is just an issue that has been going on for years, and what happened at the beginning of 2020, most likely all that did was accelerate this inevitability. Basically, what banks were doing back in 2008 that caused the collapse, they're still doing now in different ways. I believe they're doing it a little bit differently, and I forget the exact term, but the point is, our economy fundamentally, I think, is built on balsa wood. It's built on something very, very flimsy, or at least this current market. We need to be prepared for something very, very big. And again, I just want to end that by saying I personally am a huge believer in Bitcoin. Obviously, that's why I've been making videos for like almost 4 years about it, and it's why nearly all of my capital is in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then some other altcoins as well. Also, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit the like, subscribe, turn on these absolutely time-sensitive alerts. Make sure to check out the description below for some bonuses for TA, for trading, for hardware wallets to keep your crypto safe, especially going to be holding them for multiple years. But yeah, without any further ado, that's it for me. Bye-bye.